The Democratic Republic of Congo has been plagued by conflict for decades. The eastern part of the country, in particular, has been the epicenter of violence and instability. Numerous armed groups, both domestic and foreign, operate in the region. They compete for control of valuable resources like minerals and land. This has resulted in widespread human suffering, with millions displaced and living in fear. The conflict is complex, with a tangled web of actors and interests making peace elusive. The violence has had a devastating impact on the Congolese people. Many have been forced to flee their homes, seeking refuge in overcrowded and under-resourced camps. The conflict has also crippled the region's economy, leaving many struggling to survive. Children have been particularly affected, with many recruited as soldiers or subjected to sexual violence. The international community has long been involved in trying to bring peace to eastern DRC. However, despite numerous peace agreements and interventions, the violence has persisted. This is partly due to the complexity of the conflict, with multiple armed groups and external actors involved. It's also a result of the DRC government's weakness and its inability to establish control over its vast territory. One of the most notorious armed groups operating in eastern DRC is the M23. The March 23rd movement, or M23, emerged in 2012. They were formed primarily by former members of another rebel group, the National Congress for the Defense of the People. The M23 claimed to fight for the rights of Congolese Tutsis, who they alleged were being marginalized and persecuted by the Congolese government. However, their rebellion quickly escalated into a major threat to the Congolese state. The M23 proved to be a formidable fighting force. They were well equipped and organized, and they quickly gained control of territory in North Kivu province. This included the strategically important city of Goma, which they captured in 2012. The M23's advance sent shockwaves throughout the region and led to a humanitarian crisis as thousands fled the fighting. Under intense international pressure, the M23 eventually agreed to a ceasefire and entered into peace talks with the Congolese government. These negotiations led to a peace agreement in 2013, which saw the M23 officially disband. However, many observers doubted the group's commitment to peace. Their doubts proved well-founded when, in late 2021, the M23 re-emerged, launching a new offensive in North Kivu. This resurgence of violence has raised serious concerns about the group's true intentions and the long-term stability of eastern DRC. It has also raised questions about the role of neighboring Rwanda in the conflict, as the M23 is widely believed to receive support from Kigali. No understanding of the eastern DRC conflict is complete without examining the role of Rwanda and its president, Paul Kagame. Rwanda, which shares a border with the DRC, has been heavily involved in Congolese affairs for decades. This involvement stems from the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide in 1994, when Hutu extremists responsible for the genocide fled across the border into eastern DRC. Rwanda, led by Kagame, has justified its interventions in DRC as necessary to counter the threat posed by these genocidal forces. However, Rwanda's actions have also been driven by strategic and economic interests. Rwanda has been accused of exploiting DRC's vast mineral wealth and of supporting proxy armed groups like the M23 to further its own agenda. Kagame's influence over the M23 is a point of contention. While Rwanda denies any involvement with the group, numerous reports from the UN and other independent organizations have provided evidence of Rwandan support. This support is believed to include the provision of weapons, training, and even troops. Kagame's role in the eastern DRC conflict is complex and controversial. He is seen by some as a guarantor of stability in the region, while others view him as a destabilizing force pursuing his own interests at the expense of the Congolese people. Understanding his motivations and influence is crucial to unraveling the complexities of the conflict. Recently, the involvement of the Southern African Army in the current crisis has added another layer to the situation. Exchanges between South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Kagame have highlighted the regional dimensions of the conflict, with both leaders discussing potential solutions and cooperation.